Hello, everybody. Welcome to Astrology Unplugged. I'm Rick DiClemente, your astrologer. This is show number 296, I think. And tonight I took a little bit of a break away from what we do usually, and I decided to take a look at 5 of our greatest female singers, because I've been looking at several of them anyway, and just marveling at how can these people sing like they sing. And I've been studying their charts, you know me. And so I've come up with not the greatest in the world. I don't want to get into a big argument, but the 5 who've been my favorites. Phoebe Snow, Mama Cass, Joni Mitchell, Loreena McKennitt, and Eva Cassidy. So I've got some personal stories to tell you about each of them. We're going to dig into their charts, and it's really sad that I can't just stop and play one of their songs or play 30 seconds of their song. But the robot, when I'm all done cleaning this up and sending it to YouTube, the robot can tell if it's a music track, and it will stop it and it will cut it out sloppily. It'll cut it out and it'll put the video up with that cut there. So you can't get by with it, but you, the viewer, can just go to YouTube and watch it. I don't know what the reasoning is, but that's how they do things. And I'm not going to complain about it because they give us an awful lot of stuff, outrageous stuff for free, you know. So anyhow, those are the 5 I picked. No Aretha Franklin, and there's so many other great singers. It's not intentional. It's just I picked 5 people who I had their whole chart to study, and from there. Now, another thing that's interesting is this. I've told you about my work with harmonics, and you have seen me do mostly work with the 12th harmonic, which is the spiritual transcript of a person. Then I show you some work I do with the 6th harmonic, which talks about their destiny. And I've told you specifically that I do not get much out of odd-numbered harmonics. I just don't. I try it. I just don't see much there. Well, lo and behold, tonight we're going to look at everybody's 5th harmonic. And I'm finding the 5th harmonic to be very fruitful, and it tells us about their singing. It tells us about their Leo qualities, their artistic expression, what they're like as an artist. And I have found tonight, see what you think, you're going to see the natal and the 5th on each person. I have found the 5th harmonic more telling than the natal chart, which is fascinating. So I'll show you, we'll take our time, the natal and then the 5th. So we're going to start with Phoebe Snow, a wonderful, wonderful artist. If you don't know much about her, she was very close with Paul Simon. She died when she was 61 out of New York. Phenomenal jazz singer, just tremendous. She became popular with the song Poetry Man. Tremendous range from real low to real high and extremely powerful. Real jazzy, tremendous vocal control. She had her career somewhat shortened because her child was born with some brain damage. And so she chose to spend most of her career caring for the little girl. So it's quite a tragic tale. But she did do some concerts, and she made some albums. And if you go looking for her, you won't be disappointed, because she was just an outrageous singer, if you've ever heard Phoebe Snow. We'll start with her natal chart, then we'll show her 5th harmonic. Several people, I've looked up important dates that they had. Oh, I do want to mention to you first, before I forget. I'm listening to Anita's telling me to tell my schedule. This is the only show we'll do in November. Okay, I'll skip Thanksgiving, and we're going to skip the last 2 of the year in late December. So we're going to do this one, skip next week, and be back with you through early December. Okay? Now, let's go see how Phoebe Snow looks. Let's get that on the screen. Okay, here's Phoebe. Phoebe was a Cancer. She was a Cancer. Notice the powerful voice. Look right away. Moon, Pluto rising in Leo. She got the big round face. Moon, Pluto rising in Leo. Just when she wanted to let go of the power, she just couldn't hear anybody more power than her. She was known for being very low and quiet all the way to really intense jazzy and almost hip hoppy. She had just tremendous range, could sing any kind of thing that was out there. You could see that a lot of her power comes from, and I'm finding this tonight in this week from looking at these charts, a lot of the power of these 5 come from Eris. Is that a surprise? And people without Eris don't know about it. Some will keep harping on it till they put it on their charts. Here we see the Mars, Neptune, and Libra, like I have, except mine is exactly together. Marcia's got it too. But her Mars, Neptune is opposite Eris. And the T-square goes to Uranus in Cancer. Well, Uranus is pretty strong in Cancer, but you've got a T-square going to another planet. And you got to think about what a T-square is. A T-square is an opposition of 2 planets, or 3, and they send their excess energy off to a 3rd planet. That's why the T shape. Well, you have to understand and take a look and give some consideration to what does that 3rd planet act like? Does it act as a suppressant? Does it act like a safety valve? Well, what do you think Uranus acts like when you send it tremendous energy? Thus, you got this phenomenal jazz singer, this phenomenal control that she has in her voice, tremendous confidence. She just goes up and nails the note. She doesn't slide into the note, just nails it. We see Jupiter, Uranus, trine. We see Venus, Mars, trine. Now, this is always excellent. Venus, Mars, trine is one of the greatest things you'll ever see because they're both very personal planets and they can represent a lot of difficulties with the person socially. But with the trine, it's somebody just with it. It's the it symbol. They got it. Venus, Mars, trine, Venus, Mars conjunction. That's it. That ability to be Mars and Venus within yourself, yin and yang within yourself. Now, yeah, in the middle of that, you slip Neptune. That makes it even more complex. Now you got Mars, Neptune trine to Venus. This is really a person that has magic. And when you see magical painters, composers, singers, dancers, it's always because of their relationship with their planets, with Pluto, Neptune, or Uranus. Has to be. It's got to be with Pluto, Neptune, or Uranus. Pluto for power, Neptune for heavenly finesse, and Uranus for just electrifying, like Michael Jackson. So whenever you look up a celebrity who may interest you, go looking for the aspects, especially trines and sextiles, to the outer planets, because it's not going to come from the sun and moon. Even though she's Leo rising, She got Pluto moon, which is extremely powerful. Okay. This Mars Neptune trine to Venus is just exceptional. This Jupiter trine to Uranus is just exceptional. Venus opposite Chiron is indicative of her versatility, from rock to soul to extreme jazz. That's what the Venus in Gemini is about, versatility, jack of all trades. Intriguing. Now we'll shift to her fifth harmonic. Okay, here she is. Boom, 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 boom. 4 planets together in Sag within 18 degrees of themselves. Some of them opposite Venus. You got Jupiter, Mercury. This is 5 degrees. This is 5 degrees. This is 8 degrees. Mercury, or Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune, Mars. So this is that happy fireworks type of energy that she had. Put the sun at the top of the chart. What do you think that's going to sound like? Powerful. Put the sun in Scorpio. Powerful. Put the sun in Scorpio at the midheaven opposite Eris. Powerful. Put the sun in Scorpio at the midheaven with Chiron opposite Eris, T² to Uranus in Leo. This is why she knocked walls down when Ethel Merman like. Well, she just the power that she had. She could go from very subtle to just instant power. Look at that sun opposite Eris, T² to Uranus, which is in Leo, and it's angular, right on the angle. So I told you these fifth harmonics are really impressing me, and it's no wonder. And you definitely, they say that you can't follow transits to these charts. You go back and watch transits hit them, and you'll see when their most famous recordings were made, when their biggest concerts were guaranteed. Just how it works. Beautiful. Sun, Eris. You think she got something to say? She's not going to say it. Sun in Scorpio opposite Eris, T² to Uranus. Now, we could look through other charts and we would find out why she had a sick daughter and why she had like similar to a 12th house, ropes around her ankles, having to be home to take care of her. You're going to find out heavy karmic stuff with her daughter for sure. But analyzing her as a singer, this is just astounding. Oh, then, by the way, let's take Venus opposite Jupiter with a T² over to Pluto. You got one T² to Uranus and Leo. Let's have another one to Pluto. So I don't think I need to tell you very much about her power. That's where it's coming from. Yeah. Do you have a question? Oh, yeah. Let me get you're muted. There's a beautiful picture. You're muted.
I lost it. Hold on.
Yeah. Beautiful Cancer woman. Beautiful Cancer woman. Several of you, any of you have not listened to her? Phoebe Snow, Phoebe Snow. Go listen to her. Put your seatbelt on. First, don't use headphones. Turn the volume about halfway down because she is a powerhouse. Love her to death. Okay. Thank you for that, Marcia. It's sad that we can't just play their music. Okay, next in the line, I have a woman that just knocked me flat, who went from being called Mama Cass. I didn't know this, but as she left that group, she went on her own with just her real name, Cass Elliot. It wasn't her real name, but she dropped the mama part. Another thing to notice, I've told you this before, maybe you don't notice this. When something is about 20 months old, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, 28 is a very significant number. A lot of things will last 2 years plus 4 months. 28 months. That's all the time that the mamas and papas were together. 28 months. Hard to believe because they were right in the middle of the 70s. Tremendous vocals, tremendous harmony, knocked people flat. All of them could sing, but there were 3 of them, and then there was Mama Cass. She just stood out because she was so astounding. When she died, just before her death, she had really huge what do you call it? She had huge hangups from being so overweight.
Hi, honey.
And she was very uptight about it and didn't realize how people just loved her anyway. And she had lots of problems with heroin because of her weight and being depressed because of it. But just before her death, she went 2-3 weeks straight in London every night, and they were standing ovations every night just before she died. So she died happy, and she died where people appreciated her. But she's that glorious voice that you hear on Monday, and when you hear all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. That's her voice up top. Just a phenomenal singer, Mama Cass. Or Cass Elliot. So she was a double Virgo, which is kind of hard for me to believe. And there you see the sun and moon in Virgo. She only lived to be, I believe, 33. And there's all these rumors that she died on a sandwich. Choking on a sandwich is not true. She died from being burned out and strung out from so much heroin and from massive depression. There was a lot of trouble. There was a lot of trouble in the band because she fell in love with one of the male singers, and he was in love with the other woman who was the beautiful, I forget her name, Peggy. I can't remember what the other woman's name was. I'm not going to struggle with it. Okay, so you see Sun, Neptune, opposite Eris. So we see 2 in a row with massive Erises. Right on the ascendant, Uranus right on the ascendant. Now, when you have a massive planet like Uranus or Pluto on your angle, it's like you're plugged in. You can't get unplugged. You're plugged in. And with Uranus and Gemini, she had tremendous versatility. She could just swing through the scale like it was nothing. Powerful. And I don't know much about her, but knowing this sun and moon in Virgo, she would have tremendous technical control. Okay, so that's really powerful. Pluto square to Venus, same degree. This is indicative of her hardships with romance, with the Pluto exactly, and her strong propensity towards jealousy is the Pluto square Venus and Scorpio. Mercury square Mars, no big deal. Beautiful trines of Saturn and Uranus, right to Sun, Neptune. But see, Sun, Neptune, you can say what you want to. Use whatever words you want to, but that's somebody who's singing to God. Sun, Neptune, you're singing to God. Now, listeners might say, she got an angelic voice. You may say this, you may say that, but that's what it comes to. Her sun, her expression her self-expression, which is so finessed and so exacting in Virgo, was unbounded. So even though it was exact, it was unbounded at the same time with Sun next to Neptune. So that's a real special combination that she has. Go listen to This Is Dedicated to the One I Love by the Mamas and the Papas. This is dedicated to the one I love, which is her. We got our Marcia out here. Here's Mama Cass Elliot. Michelle Phillips, thank you very much, very much appreciated. Michelle Phillips was the other female singer in the band who was good, but she was next to outrageous, and she was very pretty and lean and thin and blonde, and thus the problems with the two women in that group. So we go looking at the fifth harmonic for Cass Elliot. And John is with us now. Okay, so in Mama Cass's fifth harmonic, we see the Sun stays with Neptune. Now it's part of a grand trine with the Sun, Neptune, down to Jupiter, over to Saturn, and, well, it's just Saturn. Saturn, Jupiter, Sun, Neptune. So here's their Sun connected to 3 of the 5 outer planets: Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn. Uranus is already near the ascendant, opposite Mars in this case, with a T-square to Eris in Aries. Another powerhouse. So we've seen 3 people in a row with powerhouse Erises. Scorpio on the midheaven, Sun and Neptune in the 8th house. And don't get fooled by these books that tell you so much about Mars, Saturn, driving with the brakes on, Mars, Saturn, muscular problems, Mars, Saturn, a life of inhibitions. Don't get conned by the books. They don't know, they're not giving you the translations from experience, they're giving it from their theory. And the theory is, oh, Mars and Saturn is very frustrating, which it is. But what they don't tell you is how many people are incredibly successful because of the frustration. The frustration makes them work so hard. And that's how they whip it. And that's how they whip it good. And that's how they develop their power. So it is indicative of her struggles with the band. I'm not sure what the struggle was. It's not like a double Virgo person to be very overweight. It's very rare for them. I don't know what caused that. Of course, I'm ignoring the 12th harmonic on all these charts. But another astounding singer, and if you just listen to any, the mamas and the papas, just listen up high. And it's the part that just chills your backbone. She was that good. This is like the one silent theater here, talking about singers we can't listen to. What's with this day and age? All right, let's go on to, my God, yes.
I just wanted to say I saw the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh, wow.
When I was about 14.
And
they were amazing, in a little club. They were incredible.
What was Mama like?
And just blew us out of the room. Yeah.
The other ones were very good too.
They were very, very, very good.
But really good.
Definitely the focus was to her. So
go listen to, what did I say? This is dedicated to the one I love. By Mama Cass, by the Mamas and Papas. Okay, Now we're getting to the one that most people, or a whole lot of people, think should be number one. They just think that Joni Mitchell, and they got a real good argument, and she's so astounding. Of course, she's aging now, and she's not getting around too good, but she's given us a lot of phenomenal albums, especially her 71 through 75 period when she had so many successful albums. And we were playing them all at Apple Shop at that time for the Roses and all that. So she has an astounding chart, the Canadian Joni Mitchell. Joni is coming up. It takes me longer to get them on your screen now because I've talked with Zoom. They've added 2 new drop-down menus. Every time I share my screen, there are two new menus, 2 boxes that drop down in my face, and I have to get rid of each one before I can see what's there. And they're telling me, you're sharing your screen. I know, I just shared my screen. Now it tells me that I am sharing my screen. So I have to take 5 seconds to get rid of those. That's what delays me a little bit. Now, now we see an astounding woman. Now, if you don't, I followed Joni very closely her whole career. Her career started in folk, went to folky rock, and then it went into jazz, then it went into jazzy jazz. Anyhow, Joni has always been known for being real sensitive. She's a Scorpio with a moon in Pisces, and the moon's at the top of the chart. And guess what's rising? Cancer. So she's really sings a lot of songs about having her heart broken. And oh boy, I remember. And who left that long black hair in the bathroom drain? That's one of her favorite lines as a Scorpio. She never married. I'm sure she had thousands of proposals, but I think she just stayed married to her music. Long known as being in a powerful relationship with Graham Nash. She writes all her own stuff, just about everything. Tremendous ability, very good guitar player. She made open tunings very popular. She tuned the guitar to a chord. And that's why when you see her play, she's just taking her finger up flat on the frets because each one is a chord. Beautiful voice, tremendous control, especially in the higher ranges, just beautifully melodic. But you see here, this has got to go to the past life, that this chart is about moon opposite Venus, opposite Neptune. This is a person that says, I know I'm going to get bruised by it. I know I'm going to go through hell, but I'm going to live with all my feelings on my sleeve. I don't care what it is. I'm going to live with my emotions out front. What does she say? She says you're bound to lose when you let the blues make you scared to feel. These are her lyrics. Just you see with her, you see the courage of Scorpio, the passion in her voice, in her as she bangs the piano keys and just belts it out. Here we see the Sun, Mercury, and Scorpio in the 5th house. And what's interesting is we see this tremendously important Venus, Neptune opposite Moon, Eris, again Eris. But the T-square goes to Saturn, Mars. In Gemini, here you see the versatility. But you don't see the driving with the brakes on here. You don't see the Saturn stifling the Mars, do you? It's almost like Saturn Mars is a good thing. And I think I've got it myself, and I think it just makes you work so hard at expressing yourself the way you want to, that you end up mastering it. fabulous symbol here. But this comes from, don't kid yourself, there's tremendous power here with the moon opposite Venus, Neptune. This is like her entreating God in this lifetime. Like, I live with my heart completely open. What else do you want from me? What else do you want? She lost her audience, in my opinion, after her real thrilling albums, 74, 75. She started to whine too much. She went into dark jazz with those real weird long bass notes, twangy bass notes, mournful bass notes. And I think she just lost her audience because she was just always sad and always talking about her heart being broken. And the next thing you know is her sales just went after 76. I think that's what happened. We could see what happened with the planets in 76, but that's definitely when she started to lose them. She was following Charlie Mingus at the time. We want to take a look at 1976. Okay, and get that back on your screen. Okay, so this is the start of the downfall. Now look at Saturn. You can see in the past 8 years was her successful years. When Saturn was going through the top, 71, 69, she was singing, the Circle Game. She was singing Woodstock. And she was really popular as a folk singer out of Saskatchewan. And as it went through here, she had extreme popularity. Then when it started to dip below the ascendant, it was when she started to lose her crowd. Now, what else are we seeing? Pluto has just gone over these two planets. Pluto's starting to square her ascendant. Neptune is involved somewhat, and Eris is climbing to the top. So we don't know exactly what happened here. This is intriguing. Let's take her chart now, and let's look at her fifth harmonic. And here it is. Okay, this is her fifth harmonic, which is the Leo harmonic, which is your singing, your expressive abilities. I mean, we can't see an exact bucket pattern, but we almost see a bucket pattern to Neptune, don't we? Look at everything over here. And a true bucket handle is one planet over here. But I don't care, we can break the rules if we want to. This is a bucket handle from this big fan of planets fanned out over to Neptune. And how much more beautiful can you make it when you put Neptune in Libra and you have Libra rising? Okay, what else do you see? Neptune, Jupiter, I've been telling you all along, for years now, Neptune, Jupiter are the two planets that speak of God power, of being in a cult, being really dedicated to God, whatever, but you're really tuned into the God energy, transcendency. You can feel in a lot of her music, it's either transcendent or it's just typical with my classes, with my early classes, teaching you about Libra and Scorpio. They put too much emphasis on the success of a relationship. And that's what so much of her songs are about. Oh, you broke my heart, and what am I going to do? But anyhow, she's a real survivor. The Jupiter Neptune is symbolic of somebody who has gotten lost in New Age stuff. And she says in her lyrics, guru books, the Bible, they're just a reminder that I'm just not good enough. So she throws the books away. They're just a reminder that I'm not good enough. Okay, what's this? Pluto opposite Chiron, up and down the midheaven. I keep telling you, right along the angles. We got Jupiter, Neptune, we got Pluto, Chiron. Pluto, Chiron, I've been working with lately. I'm starting to see a lot of it. I've been studying it more and more. But Chiron being the planet that I believe rules Virgo. I think Virgo is about the skills. I think Pluto opposite Chiron is about her testing her skills all the time. Tremendous pianist, tremendous guitar player, and phenomenal singer. So I think this had a lot to do with it. Now look at the expelled from this. Look at the what's expelled from this. Look at the outlet of the opposition, the T-square over to Jupiter and Aries. Well, you got this fight going on, and Jupiter and Aries. You think Jupiter and Aries is going to hold back? She's singing on certain songs about pounding the chords, and you got to shake your fist at lightning. You got to roar like a forest fire. These are her lyrics. Until everything's left but an ember. So she's really, really super passionate. Sun, Mars in the 8th house, trine to Pluto. Sun, Mars, trine to Pluto. Sun, Mars, almost exactly trine to Pluto. 13, 14, 16. This is power. Grand trine. Venus, Mars, Sun, Pluto. If this isn't SEX, then I don't know what it is. I got Susan's attention. Venus, Mars, Sun, and Pluto. It's not just sex, it's passion. But moreover, what Joni Mitchell is about. She's about that Scorpio part I keep telling you about never betray me. Never. I will never betray myself. You must never betray me. I will never betray you. And her songs are all about being betrayed. If there ever was, there she is, the beautiful Joni Mitchell. Thank Marcia for chipping in tonight. Beautiful. If there ever was an artist stuck thematically, well, I think she was stuck thematically. Yeah, Susan, I think she was. After a while, she couldn't get off of it. But you saw in the natal chart, her natal chart is based on, I'm taking this incarnation because I want to prove that I can live a life through emotion, period, and it will carry me. Well, she has paid the price. But you look at her words on her album covers and listen to her songs, and she just lets it out. Passionate. Okay, that's 3 of them. Now, Loreena McKennitt. I'm sure there are many of you that have not heard her. She is a phenomenal, same place in Canada, Saskatchewan. She is a very talented singer. She is famous for bringing about the resurgence of the Druids, their music, Celtic music. She takes the Celtic stuff, but not like the Celtic women. She takes the Celtic stuff deeper. She does the Celtic dance type of stuff too. And she's made a lifetime of traveling the planet, being an Aquarian that she is, studying their history, how the Celtics moved from one country to another, what happened with their songs. She's reviving them. She also augments them, and most of her stuff is written by her. Some stuff she will do, which is like by Shakespeare, or where the words are by famous, wonderful authors. Anyhow, she's a phenomenal pianist. She's a master harp player, plays the harp. She plays the accordion, those three. I've seen her 3 times. You just sit there with your mouth open. You're really seeing what heaven sounds like. Now, any of her albums, Loreena McKennitt. She is she's had a lot of trouble with United States visas. So her band, which has got about 11 members in it, marvelous band, they're limited now just to touring Canada. And they did tour Europe some, but she hasn't toured in this country for about 7, 8 years now, to our dismay. Almost everything is just angelic when she sings. She's perfect and angelic and powerful. So in 1998, she's engaged to this man. And this man and his brother and a third drowned in one major boating accidents.
Wow.
Just as she was about to be married, her fiance, the brother, and a friend, they drowned in a boating accident on one of the Great Lakes. Threw her into such a funk, such a depression that she didn't perform for another 10 years. So she's very active with boating laws and boating restrictions now, playing free concerts throughout Canada to help out with such items. Loreena is an astounding chart. She's a beautiful redhead. With a moon in Libra. She has an astounding chart, actually. But when you're watching her, that you're getting kind of a sneak peek around the curtain of watching the angels perform. That's the kind of feeling you get with this woman. She's that astounding. Here's the sun in Aquarius, right opposite Pluto. Within 5 minutes, not degrees, 5 minutes. Sun opposite Pluto. So she's got this delicate playing the harp. She's playing it delicately and lightly, and then she'll rip your gizzard out. She'll just start the waves coming in across the English Channel. She'll summon these phenomenal sounds, and she's got tremendous power and passion. Exquisite. Very much based in the Celtic tradition. So you see the T-square to Neptune. There's the beauty, there's the angelic. We have to go and look, where is Eris? Here's Eris, across from Jupiter, across from the moon. So it's affecting a personal planet. The moon is in Libra, so she's very classy. Virgo rising, that's all her skill sets. Another T-square to Mars. Venus square Mars. Venus Uranus square to Mars. Mercury opposite Uranus, T-square to Neptune. Look at the trines. Moon to the sun, moon to Venus. When you have these kind of outer trines, they give you an ability that you just can't get. You have to be born with it. You hear the writers are trying to be astrologers. It's what they're trying to do, but they don't know it. They're trying to find the words for it. You can't. It's just heavenly. So she lost her fiance. She's back touring more and more now, but she's kind of limiting it to Canada because of the troubles with visas. let's go look at her fifth harmonic.
Let's do it first.
Here she is. What did you say about Joni, Susan? You said she was thematically stuck, was it? She's exactly right. That's really well put. Thematically stuck. Okay. Here's Loreena. Here's her fifth. She's born with the sun opposite Mars. It maintains itself, only now it's on Pluto Mars in her fifth harmonic. Right across the ascendant, Moon and Uranus. Beautiful power. What's so beautiful to watch, she has a really wonderful band playing with the ancient instruments, with her hurdy-gurdy and with the old-timey instruments. But she gets such a thrill. I keep telling you about this. She gets such a thrill when the band is playing to you. When she's part of the band, she's one of the 11th. She's 1/11th of what's doing. You can see the thrill coming out of her. But I told you from group energy, which is Aquarius, solo energy, which is Leo. But you can see the thrill that she has. They got a lot of videos on her on YouTube, and you can see how happy she is with all her musicians. And you can see all the musicians just love playing with her. Just a beautiful, beautiful sound. If you have not listened to her, I suggest 2 albums. One's called The Visit and one's called The Secret. And there she is. She's just an astounding beauty. She's not a beauty in the sense of cover girl, but she's a beauty in the sense of just substance. There you go, with her heart. Wow. Now, if that's not Moon and Libra, look at how stately that is. Anyhow, I don't care. You know me, I'll say anything. I've asked my gal for my final request is when I'm laid aside, whatever it is, whether it's cremation or whatever, I want her music playing. I don't know if it matters, but it kind of matters to me. I just don't know how you could get it any better. Okay, now to the final story, which is what started this, is because I just finished reading the life story of Eva Cassidy, who died when she was 33.
Another one at 33.
Another Aquarian. And you see, the Aquarians, they lock on to something. They lock on to something till they master it. They master it. And she did with her music. And she didn't want anybody making a big deal with her. And when she was near death, she said, I leave no will because I really have nothing to leave behind. That's what she said. And all the money's gone to her mom and dad over in the Bethesda area. A remarkable soul, very natural, never really got popular just till the last minute. But before she died, she gained popularity. And people were just now finding out about her. And if you watch on YouTube, Over the Rainbow has like 28 million hits. Her singing Over the Rainbow is enough to just knock you flat. She plays guitar brilliantly.
Yeah.
And there are several pictures of her. She never smiles, very rarely. But I did find one picture where it's her smiling and she's astoundingly beautiful. But a lot of that's because you never see her smile. She had Sun, Saturn. See, Aquarius. This is why she didn't smile. Just look at the degrees, 1346, 1333, less than half a degree. So you got that frustration that's there. All she wanted to do was sing. She was an excellent painter, very good guitar picking, guitar playing, a tremendous range of expression. That's why she's my number one, which is hard to say. Saturn opposite Mars in Leo. So that Mars in Leo is not going to let her just be suppressed with Saturn. You can tell she's going to fight for it. Okay. Saturn returns. Age 29, she gets a pimple on her nose. They find out it's malignant. She ignores it for a while. She gets growths on her back. She dies 4 years later of melanoma. Terrible, sad story. And if one of the things you should know about astrology is Aquarians don't like, most of them will not go to a doctor because they're fixed there. They got everything they need right here. I don't need somebody to tell me. They tried to get her to go. She ignored the doctors for 3 years as it spread, and it took her over really bad. Till she was in a wheelchair, and then she was dead 3 months later in 1996. Phenomenal power, passion. She is the one out of all of them, to me, who just transcends everything. She just transcends everything. This looks like a moon bucket pattern. I would say so. Not only is it moon, it's Pluto moon, it's Uranus moon, it's Jupiter moon, it's Chiron moon, and it's a T-square. So that's why she's so Cancerian. She ekes of Cancerian energy. She wanted to be by herself. She was very shy. Her father was a weightlifter who did her wrong and also did her right because he was a musician. So he actually helped her and hindered her. But he got very much behind her, and her friends got behind her. And the typical Aquarian, she had all these great friends, and she formed all these different groups, and she just didn't know success until the very end. And they found out, she found out at the very end that people just fell for her like crazy. She made her big appearance in England first, like Hendrix did. She was famous first in England before she got here. Very powerful. She does all covers. I may have heard one song she wrote. She does cover songs, but she covers them beautifully. In her last days, she was wheelchair bound, and she did a concert at a little club in DC, and she ended with "What a Wonderful World It Is." That was her last song that she sang. It's a very sad story, her life story. Here's her fifth harmonic. Let's get that on the screen. Okay, gotta get it up again. All these windows out of my way. Okay. Okay. Here's the fifth harmonic. Look at a beautiful grand trine. Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Chiron. Sun, Saturn, Leo. This is a fire trine. A grand trine in fire is a very special kind of grand trine because it's somebody with tremendous zest, spirit. Tremendous spirit. So we see that's very strong. We have the Saturn opposite Mars in the kite pattern. Here's the kite pattern. This is probably her having to deal with cancer, with the Saturn being so strong. We see the very powerful 7th house with Neptune, Uranus, and Aries, and Taurus. Neptune, Aries, and Uranus and Taurus square to her Mars. When you have a square to your Mars, it definitely presents problems, but it also sends its power to your Mars. You have to just go listen to her. YouTube, Over the Rainbow, sit down, start crying. That's really about it. Venus, Mercury, etc. So those are the 5. And I have surprised myself. There she is. Thank you very much, Marcia. She's very shy. She go off by herself. And she spent a lot of time in grade schools painting murals on the walls. She sensitivity to children. She didn't want any managers, anybody changing her, anybody telling her how to sing a song. Forget it, the Aquarian hard-headed. She wasn't listening to anybody. And she lost a lot of opportunities because of it. But then after she was on the deathbed, everybody wanted to sign her and they got in tremendous legal battles over her work. So she's making a big stink right now. Her music is. Because posthumous, what's the word? Posthumously?
Posthumously.
Posthumous.
Posthumously, that's right. Yeah.
I knew I'd get corrected there by somebody. That's exactly right. Posthumously. So that's what we find with the 5. And I think if you go through Celine Dion and if you go through just the greatest singers you can think of, you're going to keep finding the same kind of range, but you're going to find the connections to the outer planets. Pluto with pure power and passion. Neptune with divine. I mean, I just read an article by Sting. Sting had one of his great songs sung by Eva. He says, I didn't know when I was writing it, but I was writing it for her. But he said she could do things that were just magical. He says, I don't know what other word to use. Well, when you're talking magical, you're talking about Neptune. I shall be. Shall be. We always got a cat. We got a dog. We got Shelby. And
I got a question, Rick.
Yes, John.
I'm thinking of all.
I can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, better.
Okay, I'm thinking how fascinating this is, and I'm thinking of a singer who is different from all these persons, Frank Sinatra, and he's a Sagittarian, and I'm just wondering what it is that makes him different from these other ones.
Well, I've looked that up before a long time ago, and with the same question in my mind. And that's a very good challenge for us right here and now, because he wasn't
a female.
Well, he wasn't a female, but he wasn't astounding, but he was the king of smooth.
Yeah.
He was the Sagittarian. When we look at his chart, what do we have to find? He's Jupiter, and he gets away with murder, and that's hanging out with all the crooks like he did. And that's typical Jupiter, typical Sag. But what planets do you have to find? Well, he's known as the golden voice, right?
Well, I don't see any Pisces in him.
Well, I don't see it either, but Pisces will sneak up on you. There's got to be Neptune in there somewhere. There's got to be. Pluto doesn't make you smooth. Uranus doesn't make you smooth. It's got to be Neptune. So let's pause and go look for his chart. Here's Sinatra's chart. One degree. 1 degree. You cannot fake or manufacture Neptune. It's either with you or it isn't. This is the smoothness. It had to be there. Now it's kind of surprising that it's opposite Uranus. We're going to see other things. Look at that. 4 planets in Pisces. There's your answer. There's your answer.
I was
4
wrong.
planets, 4 planets in Pisces and strong Neptune.
Wow. Oh, wow.
The reason it has to be Neptune is the book called Power versus Force explains it all by David Hawkins. There's power, which is might makes right, which there's force, which is might makes right, my ego over yours, or there's true power, which is the waves, surfing the waves, the power of the wave. And that's what Sinatra had. Sinatra had the ability to just relax and let it happen. Now, I never knew much about him personally, but I guarantee you he had a lot of spiritual thoughts somewhere in him. I know his favorite song ever was Something by George Harrison, which is a very Neptunian song. You had to find Neptune. Aretha Franklin, I don't remember, but it's Pluto Mars. Power. Most polls, she's number 1 in most polls. You know, and the other thing that when you see all that Pisces stuff, I told you all along, when you reach inside of Pisces, there's nobody there. That's a strong sense of Sinatra. You can't pin him down. You can't find him. Where is he? You see the laughing, joking with Sammy Davis Jr. having a drink and all that, but there's this element about him that you can't pin down. You can't find him. That's the Neptune. Let me take a moment and look at his 5th harmonic. Okay, let's go share the screen to his Frank Sinatra's 5th harmonic. All right. Moon in Scorpio at the top. Where's Neptune now? Neptune's in a T-square. See the T-square coming to Neptune? Eris, Saturn, Neptune. Another T-square to Mercury, another T-square to Sun and Scorpio. When you have a T-square to Neptune, you don't have to do anything because you are everything. You don't have to do anything because it comes through you effortlessly.
I think, and the black friends I have think that Sinatra had soul.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I've often thought about this ridiculous idea, but our first humans were black in Kenya. I've often wondered what their first human sign was. I think the black race is a Neptune race because they just got so much soul and they got so much rhythm, and they're just trying to explain to white boys who are so rigid. And we just don't get it. Where'd I put my foot? What? We just don't get it. Yeah, he's got soul. He's got, it's not really the it factor. It's beyond factor. That's
I
what I
saw
would
him,
call.
I saw him sing Old Man River, and this was at the Civic Arena. I was very young then. I didn't like Sinatra, but everybody was standing on their chairs, and I was up there with him. He
Mm,
sang Old Man River with soul.
mm.
Well, he certainly had something.
Yeah.
He certainly had something. I knew it was Neptune, and you can see that there's so much of it there. Susan, you wanted to unmute yourself and say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know if it's soul. I think it's immersion. I think all the very best singers have a way of putting themselves into the music the way a really good actor can climb into the role of a lifetime.
And look at Jim Morrison, how he could do it. He's
Yeah.
another Sage.
Yeah. It's some kind of immersion process.
There are a lot of words in that vicinity that fit. You are it. It flows through you. Because he wasn't great looking. I mean, he was a good looking guy, but not
But he
like
exuded
Henry
something
Ford,
special.
Glenn Ford. Huh?
He exuded something special,
Exactly.
sort of projected good looking,
He
even
knew he had it.
he wasn't necessarily, but
Yeah.
it's a projection.
He knew he had it.
About Sinatra now?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a song, someone to watch over me. And one of the lines is, I may not be the man some girls think of as handsome. But he really was immersed, if you want to use that word,
Yeah.
in every part, every word.
That's a very good word for it, Susan.
I like that word.
Anybody else you want to look up? Marcia. You're muted. You muted yourself. There.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh my God, Taurus. That's why his songs go on forever. Doesn't know when to stop. He's just phenomenal. Yeah. Hold on there. Let's look up Stevie. Stevie Wonder. What you're going to see Uranus, aren't you? You're going to see Spunk, Uranus, Pluto. I think Uranus and Pluto. Spunk.
Elton John, the same thing.
Oh, the Aries. Okay, hold on. We're going to take a look for Stevie. Going for Stevie Wonder. Look at that Neptune. Look at that Neptune. There's the Uranus. Square to Venus. There's the music. There's the very superstitious. That's very Uranian. It's a Neptune.
Mm.
It's a Neptune opposite Venus. Neptune opposite the moon. You cannot express how powerful this is. When
And
it's
Mars and
Neptune,
Virgo, precision.
all that stuff, yes, for sure. But the most power in the chart are these 4 planets, 3 opposite 1. Going across the ascendant is extremely powerful. Imagine playing blind. He's got the Venus opposite Neptune right there. Just really gifted. The T-square, the grand trine is going to be special too. Pluto, Chiron, Moon. That's the skill. Let's take a look here. Pavarotti, the Libra. I'm stunned. Okay. Where's the power? Where's the power? Where's Pluto? Here's Pluto, tip of a T-square. See it? Mercury, Uranus, Pluto. I mean, when he knocks you over, it's not coming from do, re, mi, fa. He's coming from Pluto. Boom. right there. Mercury, Uranus is it's a real neurotic, hyper generating, electrical generating lightning bolt being sent over to that Pluto. So we can see that. We see the grand trine, Pluto and Eris and Jupiter. Woo! You think getting a powerful generator? Pluto, Eris, and Jupiter in Scorpio. Okay, we've had our fun. We're going to do that one more. What did you say? There was one more.
Elton John.
We're going to do Elton John. He's
Or
the,
Freddie
he's the
Mercury.
Aries, and we're going to stop after that one because I'm tired. And I'm almost in my vacation. And we find Elton John. So, what do you guys see there?
Hmm. Sun.
Very versatile.
Mhm.
Gets a lot of passion from that. Sun, Eris in the 8th house. Leo rising. That's the wanting to be seen in different costumes and performing and all. Sun, Neptune. That's beautiful there. That's where he could sing about the candles in the wind. He's got that dreamy, transcendent voice. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. That's the Sun, Neptune. Okay, well, we've had our fun. I hope you learned something. I did. I learned to look at the 5th harmonic. And if the 5th harmonic is showing me stuff, then I might have to start looking at the 7th and the 9th. And John's here.
John was here the whole time.
Yeah, I've been listening in, Rick. It was very insightful. And yes, I've been blown away by Eva Cassidy's music too. She's beautiful soul.
Mhm.
She did all that she came to do. She left us with such gorgeous music that takes your breath away.
She left in a very dignified way. She wasn't feeling sorry for herself.
Mm-mm.
She played a concert for $10,000, and she took all the money that was for her cancer treatment, and she gave it to a couple that she met at the hospital for they had cancer problems.
Wow.
So she was phenomenal. I would strongly recommend her biography, which is really something. Okay, so I'm off next week. I'll see you guys in early December. If you
Happy
think any-
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Huh?
Thanksgiving.
Mott,
Mott
no,
Hoople?
wasn't
No?
Mott Hoople. It was a band. It was a band just like them, same time. Wasn't
Was
Mott
it
Hoople.
Bluesology?
It was just like Mott Hoople. Hold on, we'll just take a time out. We'll hold that secret till next time. We're skipping next week. See you in 2 weeks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Bring forth your favorite artists. We'll look them up in the future.
Night, everyone.
Thank you, Rick.
Great,
Thanks,
everybody.
Rick.
Happy
Good night.
Thanksgiving,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night. Good
Happy
night.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanks for
Thanksgiving.
tuning in.
Shelby
Happy
says
Thanksgiving.
bye.